I'm Craig Stagner, and we are here at Ozark Raceway Park, and we are in the Rad Auto Lift VIP Suite. And all day since I knew that I was going to be interviewing these two, I've been trying to think of some short, concise way of interviewing them as this or as that. And there's just so many positive, cool things to say about them, I couldn't come up with just two. So, Wes and Jackie Littrell, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Now, everybody, you have gone from being like, the first time I saw you out here last year, it was like, what is that truck? Now, people 1320 video and Break and Farm Truck and Asian have shared your videos. And you guys are kind of like web celebrities here because everybody knows you for the homemade truck dragsters, right?
Yes, sir.
How would you describe that, what you drive, to somebody who doesn't know?
Well, I usually try to describe it as, a home build. I like old vehicles, but old vehicles are typically, they cost a lot of money, Model A, that sort of thing, and then they're also, most of them are quite rusted, and so you got to restore them. Where I thought, well, I'll just build something that kind of looks like an old style vehicle, but yet is, all new metal, and you don't have to start rebuilding, you can just build from scratch.
Some people talk about some guys have gone out and bought their race car. Some guys brag that they built their race car. Now, when you say you built your race car, you've gone a little goofy with this. This is like to the extreme. You tell us what exactly how you built your truck.
It's 100% from scratch. A 2x4 box tubing on the race cars. Round tube for what remaining part of the cages there are. Then the diesel truck is 2x5 box, and it's 100% homemade. All this stuff is fabricated from piles of steel laying in the floor. I've got a metal brake. I bend my own cowls. I do all my own welding. I built the front ends totally on the two. I've got two diesel trucks actually, and I built both front ends from full drive front end that I took apart and put a solid tube in it. I built the front suspension. They're 100% handmade.
The motor's the only thing that's not made in your garage, just about, isn't it?
Pretty much. I narrow my own rear end housings. I do have a friend of mine that does rear ends that did do one for me as kind of a sponsorship. He owns a rear end company called PEM. But the other ones, I do all my own. The front ends are a bought-in front end on my race car. They're Speedway motors, but that's just pretty much it. Everything else is handmade. The radiators are hand fabricated from a friend of mine, but everything else I make myself.
So people look at it when they see it out there, and they see this what looks to be a plywood truck. And the first thing I heard people talk about a year or so ago, maybe a year and a half ago now, was, is that thing even safe? But as we talked about, and I brought up after I talked to you, would you rather stand on a deck made out of fiberglass or made out of plywood and angle iron? Yours is a lot sturdier and consequently heavier than most of the race cars, right?
It is, because fiberglass is built in a sense with a resin and small strands where plywood is, pieces of wood glued together, and it's 1/2 inch thick versus most race glass being something that 1/8 inch thick, and you could probably punch through with your hand where you're not going to punch through 1/2 inch plywood.
You could say you have the most eco-friendly race cars from Mother Earth. Here is that yours is wood and metal.
Yes, sir.
It's a very eco-friendly race car.
I would say so. Now the diesel truck, if
well,
you're behind it, you probably wouldn't think it's very eco-friendly because it does roll some coal.
Well, if you're behind the diesel, good luck keeping up with it.
Oh.
So, now you had your first one built, and then you turned it over to Jackie, right?
Yes.
How old was she when she first started racing?
She was like 15, I believe.
So when most girls and boys were at 15, like, oh, I'm going to get to drive the farm truck, you got the keys to the race car.
Yeah.
Well said. Jackie's the girl who lets her racing do most of her speaking for her. Now, when she took over that truck, you took on a different truck, right? What was after that?
Well, I built the race trucks we have tonight here. I built hers, the one she races, the single engine is the first one I built. It was our daily driver. Then I decided to build a race truck, and I pulled it with that daily driver. Well, then when she got about 15, we needed something for her to race, so she started racing the tow rig, which is never a good idea. So then I built the diesel truck, and a couple years later, I thought, I would try my hand at building a twin engine, just something totally different, as if my other stuff isn't different. I've just always admired the twin engine dragsters of the 60s, and I thought, I want to do that myself. And so I built it, and then recently I built another diesel pickup as just a daily driver that's a single cab and something I can park a little easier than my big one.
Right, so now you have 4, correct?
3 race cars and 2 daily drivers, or the big diesel and a smaller diesel.
So you have 5.
I have 5 altogether.
Now, you sometimes post on Facebook, you're actually driving one of those to work, sometimes, I think, and then you used one of them as your birthday party wagon, right?
Yep.
So you decorated it out.
Yeah.
As if it wasn't cool enough to have like something all your friends could get in, it's a homemade dragster truck thing that you have that you're taking your friends in. Now, I've interviewed you before, and you told me, but tell us again, what kind of horsepower are you racing?
Well, I switched over from having the single car to the twin engine now, so I'm making about 1,000 to 11,000 horsepower.
1,100. So
1,100,
you went from
sorry.
600 in your first vehicle, about 600 horse, to almost doubling that. You're about 1,100 horsepower.
Well, I switched from the 514 to the 557, making around 950 horsepower
Wow.
last year.
So what's it like when boys, I think I've asked you this before, but indulge us again, you talk to somebody, you work at your day job, and you say you have a car, and they're like, oh, I've got a Camaro LS or this or that, and you just kind of smile like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
What do you tell them? Are they pretty impressed that you driving it?
Yeah, I show them some pictures because you can't really explain. You're just like, let me just show you a picture of it.
And surely most of them have seen, anybody that's any kind of race fan has seen you all both. And I hear about it in my daily travels as I hear somebody say, did you see that truck out there that's like the wood truck and then there's the 2 motors one? And I say, not only did they build that, that's Jackie, and she's just turned 21 driving that, and guys are just amazed. Here when you have your daughter, you're like bubble wrapping the world because and you've got your daughter in an 1,100 horsepower dual engine race truck.
Well, and there is always a fear factor, racing is dangerous. But there's a lot of worse hobbies that she could be in, and I've always said, give your kid a hobby, or they'll probably find one you don't really like.
Right.
And I worry more about her going to St. Louis to a club or something like that, far more than driving the race car. And it's,
well, the wrecks are spectacular in racing, but let's be honest, the chances of her being injured in softball or cheerleading or just driving to work and back are a lot more so than being here.
Yes,
now,
sir.
one thing I've always noticed is how often you two race each other. Is there a comfort level for you knowing that you're the guy in the track? Or is it that you don't have to stand and watch her and be nervous?
Oh, and it is, if something would go wrong, I would be right there. I could turn around in my truck and drive back and be right there first on the scene. And a lot of it is, I like putting on a show for the people. And it looks kind of cool when both of us are side by side.
Certainly does.
It adds to the effect. And I just, that's what I'm about. I mean, if it makes people happy, if a little kid comes up, we went to Walmart the other night in my big diesel, and this little Jeep followed me in the parking lot. And I thought, well, I must have done something to them to offend them or something. Well, no, they come running out, and it was a woman and her 3 kids, and she asked me to take a picture by it. And it meant a lot. I mean, if it makes somebody smile, that's what I'm about.
And some of the cars are really cool, but yours, man, every time you all are here, it's all people talk about. There's some cars with some cool paint jobs or this or that, but all anybody ever wants to talk about is the Littrell racing family. And not only are you two the nicest people we have out here, you're as friendly as can be, you're fast, father-daughter race team. There's just so many things to be admired about what you all have going on here that it's easy to see why you're such a crowd favorite.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And, we appreciate all you've done for us. And that means a lot.
Well,
you know.
and just a minute ago, we're going to put this together. I'll share with it the video of you making the pass. We just put the 360 camera on the front of Jackie's car or truck. We've done a couple 360 videos in her truck, and now we've got one on the front. So there's a lot of video of you all out there, and that's a lot to be said for just how much fun you are to watch and how popular that you are. So
I always say fame, yes, fortune, no.
well, yeah, unfortunately they don't always go together, but
no, and that's fine. Like I said, it's great to deal with my daughter, the family thing, and being able to come out here and just enjoy things. It's a good, clean pastime, and you know, so many kids don't have that opportunity. And I'm just glad to be able to afford to be able to do it
right
with her.
Is there any of your sponsors in particular that you want to make sure that we hit on? That
we do have a fuel sponsor. We have Wallace Oil out of Cuba, Missouri. Very gracious. You know, they give us a couple barrels of fuel a year. That means a lot. I have friends at McLean's Automotive at Cuba. They got a machine shop, and them guys, you know, they're always doing something for me for nothing. You know, if it's a major job, yeah, they charge me. But a lot of times, if it's a small job, you know, they don't charge me anything. And you know, I've got several friends out there that do that sort of thing, and you know, it helps me to be able to afford this because, you know, I'm definitely no multi-millionaire. I work for the county government, and I'm a mechanic, and you know, my wife's a nurse, and you know, we make a pretty you know, modest paycheck, and it's but you know, this is what we do. I don't have any other hobbies. I don't drink. I don't smoke. This is it, you know. And
it's a great hobby, and you're making memories that for going to be forever. That this has got to be great for you to be able to line up against your dad and race.
It's all about the competition with him.
And you beat him once in a while, right?
Yep.
No red lights.
Sometimes.
That happens. So
I sleep and she red lights. So
I gotcha. What is next for you all? What's coming up here? I mean, you've got 5 trucks rolling now. Is there some new project? What's next?
I think I'm kind of good in the area of race cars.
Probably out of space.
Yeah, we've got a pretty good sized garage, but it tends to get, every time I build on, you know, I tell my wife that I'm building so she can park her vehicle inside, and somehow something grows into moving into that area. But no, really, I think we're gonna work on making the twin engine faster. Right now, it match races perfect with the other one I've got. That they both run around 590s, 580s. Mine runs 540s, 550s. My goal is to make it right there with mine. That way, we're an even race. It puts on a good show for the people. That's probably coming over the winter. I'm going to do my best over the winter.
Well, I tell you what, if nothing else, if no matter how this day goes, you're racing, both racing in a Super Pro class here at this at the Pure Romance by Bobby All Parts Auto Salvage Bracket Series race today, and also the Christian Motorcycle Association bike. So we have 3 sponsors for this bracket race today. No matter what, I bet that tomorrow, if you ask everybody who is here in attendance what cars they remember, it's going to be these 2 here. So that's pretty impressive.
Well, thank you.
And personally, I couldn't be more proud to be able to say that I know Wes and Jackie personally and can call you friends. So it means a lot to me.
Same to you.
So, Jackie, it's good to interview you again. You always get to be interviewed. Now, you've both been the cover of ORPtv on Facebook, and I'm glad to finally get to sit down with you, Wes, and get some of the details in the background of it, too.
Yes, sir.
So,
anytime.
We look forward to seeing you again, and thank you for being here as some of the cars take off. Again, thank you for watching us here on ORPtv.